Yo, Jocko, we're live.
Yeah, you know, dude, I'm jamming my the Fallout pedal. Freaking rocks, man.
It does.
So check it out. I love how much you can hear it. But so here's the pedal off. Right, and then here is it with it on. I don't know how much you can hear it, but in the room, dude, it's got nice brilliance and attack to it. So yeah, Rocco Prestia, who plays a very well-known bass player in the jazz circles, played with Tower of Power, the famous horn section. He just passed away. So, yeah, my friends, Steve Bailey over at Berkeley, hit me today. I think next Thursday I'm going to go live on a stream that they're going to be doing to do an honorarium. I mean, he's a dude, you know, he's like Jocko and Marcus Miller and all those guys over there in that world. So anyway, getting my Rocco on.
Speaking of the follow-up pedal, I know you were out being active today, or if you saw this, but maybe it was yesterday, but we sent one of the pedals to Paulo from Trivium for his birthday last week.
Yeah.
And I saw it today. I didn't even notice it because we were so busy with the AUF WIEDERSEHen teaser and the press release and stuff, but he actually posted about it and said, thank you. And it was really cool. I just saw it over on Twitter a little while ago.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah. You know, we put that together for him. Actually shot a little video for him.
He posted the video. He posted the video.
Did he?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
It's funny. I think I was at the car wash or something. I thought, let
At
me
the
get him a car.
wash.
So I got him a car.
Wash, yeah.
At the car wash.
At the car wash, yeah.
Yeah. We can go all sorts of different directions on that one. That's awesome. It's funny. Chris Kale just hitting me here on.
Phil Demo, what's up, dude? How are you?
Yeah, dude. What you doing?
Man, we do this during the day, and everybody comes out of the woodwork.
I'm telling you, everybody's awake. I know. That's why I've been.
Everybody but me.
Everybody, yeah. That's why I've been trying to Tom. Really, you should wake up before noon because then we could do a live stream at 2 o'clock your time.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, usually, the thing is, it's something I was thinking about today because I went to bed super early because I slept 2 hours the night before getting ready for that press release and all that stuff yesterday. And I slept 2 hours. So I had the worst migraine last night. I fell asleep at early and I woke up at 10 and all day I felt sluggish. And I'm like, God, I just feel depressed being awake during the day. I swear I'm a vampire.
You're completely the opposite. It's so funny.
I
wake up.
You're up. I want to do my interviews at 6 a.m.
I do. I want to get up and get on it, man. Early bird gets the worm, So it's funny. So today I've been out mountain biking, or not even mountain biking, just street biking actually. So I got kind of a hybrid bike. So I've been out doing a ton of it. And today I got up and I went out. I would probably do a nice 10, 15 mile ride. And it was great, man. I just get up and just get out and go. And when I do things like sweep or hose the deck off or those things, those are those sort of monotonous drony things where you sort of let thoughts flow, kind of meditative. And that's kind of what the bike riding is for me today. So, except today I took my headphones and I made phone calls. That's why you caught me right as I was coming into the house, right? So we could get our stream together. So. It's so funny. When I was growing up, disco was very popular. So it was Kiss, Sex Pistols, and disco, right? And if you're a rocker like I was, you would never in a million years admit you were into disco. But I will admit this now because I'm older and wiser, hopefully. Disco bass playing is freaking amazing, man.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it?
Freaking incredible, man. It was, but what Motown was in the late 50s, early 60s, 60s, I should say, that's, disco just took it from there, and it's just great. So much as I didn't even like some of the songs, the bass playing was just incredible. So it's kind of like the jazz of the day.
And I admit, while we're on the subject, I love Dynasty. So.
So wait, so
I was made for love.
Okay, I'll follow you because you got the lag. So ready?
Too hard to collaborate.
Isn't it like, yeah, it's hard to collaborate. That was Desmond Child, wasn't that? Was Desmond right? That was
I think so.
Desmond. Yeah.
Well, what you're
and Paul. Yeah.
What you were just playing sounded like Mario Brothers, by the way.
Well, that's the standard, you know.
I know.
You know, that's your basic disco line. That's right. And Michael Anthony played a lot of that kind of stuff. So it's kind of funny. Van Halen, which of course, you know, had their own rock sound, but you know, the punk thing was going on around them and disco. So Michael Anthony always played a little bit of some kind of the disco lines.
Nothing wrong with that.
So had my Marcus Miller on earlier. Dude, this little mini bass is just
I love those. Did they ever get any more in?
Cool.
I still want one of those.
I don't know. We'll hit Tempesta and see if he did because they're great.
I have my big boy bass right here.
Yeah, I know.
But I don't
kind of looks mini on you.
It does, right?
Right. You're a larger gentleman, so the
I am. I am a gentleman of size.
Yeah.
I can play octaves too.
That's what you got to do, dude. You got to play the octaves.
That's right. The Jackson Minion basses. It's like a tiny version of this.
So
look at this asshole. Fuck you. Bass is overrated in all forms. Fuck you.
I agree. Fuck the bass. Who needs it? And especially people who play with a pick. What a bunch of fucking posers.
Fucking pussies. Play with your fingers, pussy.
Yeah, Gene Simmons, Sting, Paul McCartney, Phil Lynott. Fuck those guys.
Fuck all those guys.
So we're having a bass showdown. Fuck the bass. Who needs it? So, man, so we got some guests hanging out. I don't know if everybody saw yesterday. We pushed out the video for Auf Wiedersehen. Actually, just a the teaser clip. When does the whole video come out? When
Tuesday.
Are we doing that? Tuesday. Next Tuesday. So we got that clip coming out. And we announced October 9th will be the digital release, November 20th, the full release with
October 9th is the Auf Wiedersehen single, and November 20th is the full album.
It's the full album. Okay, there you go. For clarity.
And,
okay, cool.
Yep. So next Friday, the Auf Wiedersehen single is coming out on all the digital outlets with our friends. So we signed to earMUSIC, man, which is awesome. Our band, Ellefson, signed to earMUSIC, which is a huge label in Europe. It's label Alice, but they're really worldwide now. Alice Cooper's on the label, and Def Leppard, and a bunch of just great, huge bands. And they're a great company. It's a huge honor, man. So our band, we got signed, Dave.
Dude,
congratulations.
Signed. What do you know? Which is awesome. Yeah, congratulations. And earMUSIC over in Japan for all of Asia. So, yeah, it's nice. So Combat has got a nice distribution thing around the world, which is really, really cool. So, that required us to push things back a little bit, not to mention I got fuzz on my microphone here. Not to mention you had a heart attack and died. So
my sheer heart attack.
So we had to wait for you to come back to life, and then we could continue with the record. We appreciate that, by the way.
Sorry to hold everybody up.
Yeah. We'll dock your pay.
What pay?
I know. Isn't that funny? You know, dude, music is just a hobby these days. That's all it is. It's like, there's all this stuff we're doing, and it's so great, you know, to have all of our friends doing it and everything. But it's like, in fact, I heard somebody say, like, what is like a session fee these days to sing or play on stuff? And it's like basically free, you know?
Yeah.
But that's what we do. We just do it for fun. But with that said, hey, we got some guests hanging out, I think, right? We got some
I see a couple people hanging out. Let's bring some in. So first off, let's say hi to this guy, Mr. Gus G.
Gus.
Hey, What's happening?
So you're in Greece.
Yeah, I'm just
Nice.
sitting here enjoying watching you guys. You're a great duo.
We're like Batman and Robin, but we're both Batman.
The difference is I'm wide awake and Tom's just waking up. And when we do them at night, I'm ready for bed and he's totally in his
Like, yeah.
But
Like,
come
all
on,
my
man.
Viking
What?
glory.
Wait, you're in Arizona. Where are you based, Tom? Where are you at?
I'm in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
So what's the difference? Like 2 hours difference between you?
2 hours.
difference,
He's 2 hours behind me. Yep.
And from California, which is basically my time zone right now, you are what, 10 hours?
10 hours.
10 hours. Wow, so almost halfway around the world.
Yeah, crazy.
Nice. So my daughter, of course, named Athena,
Really?
after the fine city of Athens. My son is Roman, after Rome, Athena after Athens. So the two ancient civilizations of the Western world.
My kid is Jenna after Jenna Jameson. So we're in totally.
That's
Or
awesome.
that. Or that.
Yeah.
I mean, a different kind of culture, but
It is, right. But
Yeah.
a leader none the same, yes.
We all like
So-
Athens, Rome, Jenna Jameson. Of course, yeah.
No, they all work. All three. We'll take all of them.
Yeah.
All three. So what have you been up to, man? With everything being locked down, you've been out playing, you've been touring, recording. What have you been doing? Anything?
I've canceled everything for the year and just stayed home. I'm constantly in my pajamas, which is kind of cool.
Warren Star pajamas.
Warren Star is your pajamas. I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, it is. So that's it. I like this T-shirt. I wear it every other day, I guess. So yeah, but yeah, man, it's I've been at home, playing some music, writing some stuff, and it was like I said, it's a good time, I guess, to kind of like reflect and maybe think and maybe put some effort into other stuff because when you're touring like nonstop since I can remember, like that's all you do. Yeah, you always worried about, okay, where are we gonna be in the next tour after that, and then what's happening in 6 months, and then what's happening next year.
Yeah.
But now there's like none of that, so
Right.
you have time to think about other things.
It's weird, isn't it, though? Because, we started doing these streams. We were doing some stuff for the Youth Foundation, and we had a lot of our friends coming on, Alice Cooper, Chris Kale, a bunch of people. Tours were big tours, Megadeth included, of course. We had all this touring lining up, and you're right. I mean, as humans, we're wired to think forward, right? Because that's like where the hope of life is that there's future stuff coming down for us. And then to just have that stop, just it literally creates kind of a feeling of hopelessness of like, what do I have to look forward to? Just every day in my pajamas. Right?
Try that, but you live in Wisconsin, and then we'll talk.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, you can come to Arizona. At least the sun's out in Arizona. There's literally not a cloud in the sky here. So I try to hang on to that every day. Not a cloud in the sky. It's lovely out.
It's kind of funny that, like before all this happened, before the pandemic, like internet was the enemy, and now internet is our best friend. Thank God for that.
Let's be honest. It's still our enemy, but our best friend too.
Yeah,
It's a dichotomy. The internet is our frenemy.
Yeah, friend of
it is for it allows us to connect, but it doesn't pay for what we do. Yeah. So.
yeah, exactly. It's like click, it should be free, and everything moves on. Well, dude, you played on the new Free Will Burning on the No Cover record that's coming out. So thank you for that. Much appreciate that.
Thank you for having me on that one, man. Sounds
I owe
killer.
you a bass line. I owe you a bass because we were talking earlier about how all this stuff works, and it's basically
great and kind.
Yeah, it is. I mean, especially now we're sitting around, all of us kind of going, shit, I'd be happy to play in anything. I just want to play and just to be hanging with our friends and doing stuff. I mean, normally look about this time we'd be at festivals, right?
Yeah.
We'd be hanging out. Our bands would be playing. We'd be bullshitting backstage, hanging out. And that's all gone. So, it's kind of like to be able to play on tracks together. And you and I played on stuff before. You threw us as a killer solo for me and Frank Bello on the Altitudes.
We've done that
Attitude.
on the Altitudes and Attitude, and you played on one of my songs on my first solo record.
Yep,
and instrumental was called Vengeance. So
yes,
so we've jammed before, never in person. We've hung out in person, but never played in person. But hopefully. Someday.
Isn't that funny? The times we've hung out Well, I guess, wait a minute. We did a Metal Allegiance. You came and jammed with Metal Allegiance, right? Because Jackson Guitars sponsored that one at the Grove during NAMM. And you had just come on board with Jackson. Wasn't it you and Marty Friedman, I think, that year, right? Had come on board with,
Yes.
And it's funny, the irony that me and Marty finally jammed together on stage after 20 years and we play a Metallica song. That's the irony.
That was the first time you jammed with Marty, like since that time.
Yes, yeah. I've not played a note with Marty until that time, and he comes back up, and we did the All-Star Jam. We play him Seek and Destroy or something, right? So hey, we love Metallica. Me and Marty are big Metallica fans. In fact, I remember being on probably the Rust in Peace tour when that Year and a Half in the Life of Metallica came out. It was either Rust in Peace or Countdown. I forgot when that came out. And that was kind of basically the making and some touring of the Black Album. And Marty and I just going, dude, we're all in the same band. Like Megadeth and Metallica are exactly the same. Like, day off, bored, go guitar shopping, do this, go, just, whatever it is, right? And we're all in the same band. It's like,
wasn't that on the cycle where you guys, I think you that was the first time the two bands played in, was it Donington or something? Or
Milton Keynes. Yeah, we did Milton Keynes. And then we did a bunch of other shows. In fact, they asked us, "Is it, look, you guys want to stay over here and play some more dates with us?" And then, unfortunately, we had a not so favorable tour coming up, which was Aerosmith and Megadeth, which was put together by kind of a random mix of people. And
how did
Aerosmith, Aerosmith are great, obviously, but kind of an odd mix.
It's a very ill fit.
Yeah. It was not. Of course, they don't even need an opening band. They were selling on arenas.
Totally different.
Yeah,
totally different. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very, very weird, So
that wasn't the Countdown tour cycle?
Yes, Countdown tour, yeah.
Wow.
And I wish we, it's funny, we had two big tours that we didn't. We did some dates. It was Megadeth, Pantera, White Zombie. And right as White Zombie came out, of course, Beavis and Butthead were blowing them up. They were huge. Yeah. And Pantera was blowing up.
Cool.
And we only did like a week and a half of dates with that. We could have done a whole summer with that, but we had this Aerosmith tour, and then we go over and we play some dates with Metallica, and they're like, "Hey, why don't you guys just stay over and do some more shows with it?" This is like, I remember the tour was called Nowhere Else to Roam. Like this was like year 3 of the Black Album tour. Like they were an unstoppable force, And we got to go home and do the Aerosmith tour. And then we go and we do the Aerosmith tour, and we got fired and thrown off the tour after like 3 shows.
Yeah.
What? So, really?
Yeah.
What'd you guys do?
Well,
they were Megadeth.
Yeah. They were, and let's just say it's an opening of one of the chapters in the Aerosmith book. I remember reading the Aerosmith book, and it says, and then we had Megadeth on tour, and it's about a paragraph of how we were like not such gracious guests and got thrown off.
Well, Chris Poland told me the stories about, God, what tour? What was it? The Alice Cooper tour that you guys, that Chris and Gar were just destroying everything basically and lighting shit on fire. And was that the Alice Cooper tour? You guys were bad boys.
And then the day comes when, like, toward the end of the tour, I think it was in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and we get word, and it's after the show, and Alice is probably about ready to go on stage, or maybe he just came off stage. And, in those days, you're running. That's the beauty of being the support band, right? You get all the girls after your show, and you get completely hammered and do all the drugs, right? Because that's the beauty of being the support act.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's only dudes at my shows. So.
Yeah, it was a different day. It was a different day. Yeah, this was the 80s. I forgot.
There was girls at shows?
Yeah.
Back in those days, there certainly were, And, the 80s were a whole different era. I forgot you guys weren't there. And then our tour manager comes and says, "Hey, Alice wants to say hello to you guys before the tour's over." We're like, one of those moments when you're like completely high as hell and drunk and going, "Oh my God, we got to get it together." Because Alice was sober, he was cleaned up, and his career was really taking off. And it was nice because Uncle Alice gave us the talk, And he wasn't like putting us down. He just said, "Be careful, you guys. I used to drink a bottle of whiskey a day and, ruin my life and my career." And, so he's, he gave us the talk, like, you guys are a good band and you got something going on here. Like, I was like, hey,
I think I've seen an interview with Alice where he was saying that he was, he tried to help Mustaine to go to rehab or something.
Yeah, Alice is great, man. Alice has been so great to us, and we love that. So, by the way, I got to pause for a second and say hi to Zach Red from Supreme Unbeing, who's in here, and their new single came out today, so go check it out.
Oh, nice. Very good.
EMP label group, baby. So you know what I think I'm gonna do? Since we're talking, everybody here pretty much. Holy shit! Hang on, look at this. Look at this. Look who that is. Holy shit! It's Dave Lombardo, kid.
Hey, Lombardo did join us. Hey, buddy.
Hey,
What's
man.
happening? How are you?
How you doing?
What's going on, man? What are you up to?
Just doing my thing, you know. Just
Are you recording right now? Because when I was chatting with you, you said you're recording or something.
yeah, I was in the
Nice.
studio. I can't, unfortunately, I can't talk about it because
Sure.
it's
I
still,
understand.
it's
Otherwise,
one
they'll
of
have to kill you. I understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
exactly.
And everyone else here,
Yeah, exactly.
and that would be a lot of murder.
I get it.
would.
Don't kill
A lot of
us.
blood.
Yeah.
We don't want to mess. You know, we don't want blood or anything like that. You know. I had
Nice.
enough of that. But no, staying busy, you know, trying to be as optimistic in these, you know,
Yeah.
these difficult times, and you know, just trying to make the best of it and just being positive. And
Nice.
had a great time recording that riff rap song. You know.
Yes.
Awesome.
But
Thank you.
some people don't know that. So the Ellefson No Cover record coming out, Dave Lombardo was kind enough to throw some drums down on the AC/DC track Riff Raff, which I don't know about you. You know, you and I are about the same age, kind of grew up with the same music. So for me, the first AC/DC record I had was If You Want Blood, which is with Bon Scott.
Mhm.
Angus jabbing the guitar into his chest. And that was the needle drop first song, was Riff Raff. So that
Yeah.
was essentially the first AC/DC song I ever heard. And just seemed appropriate to put on this record, you know? So
Yeah, I mean, when you offered me the riff rap song, I was like, yeah, I love AC/DC. I mean, when back, it had to have been 81 or 82, I think. Probably it was the Halloween before I met Carrie. I had
Mhm.
gone to the park and they had this big bonfire, you know, Halloween celebration, you know, with costume contests and all this stuff. And they had a battle of the bands. And it just so happens that I had walked into Battle of the Bands dressed up as Angus Young, and I watched Carrie and Thom perform in their first band together called Quits. And then, you know, as time goes on, then I meet Carrie, and then of course, you know, history takes it from there.
yeah.
And but yeah, AC/DC was one of my favorite bands growing up, and I believe If You Want Blood, the live album was the first one I heard as well, and then I got into Highway to Hell, and
Right.
then I went backward to Powerage, and you know, the first album,
Right.
and, If You Want, yeah, Powerage, and oh god, I can't remember the other one.
Yeah,
But-
and then Let There Be Rock before
Let
that.
There-
You know, I kind of did the same thing. So I got the live album, If You Want Blood, and then I saw there was a midnight special that they played on, and they played Sin City, and Cheap Trick was coming to a nearby town where I grew up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I went over to see Cheap Trick, and this was, I guess, they're coming off the live at Budokan and hadn't yet released the Dream Police album. And it was rumored that AC/DC might be on the bill, right? So me and my buddies, we drive over there about an hour from my house, hour and a half. And we get there, and of course, walk in, and there's the back line of, you know, AC/DC, which is basically the Power Age tour, right? Which is that live If You Want Blood was essentially the Power Age tour. And it was just freaking phenomenal. That was the only show I've ever been like front row as a fan, screaming my head off in Angus's 412 cabinet, just ripping my head off. Because he was so freaking loud. I mean, it was so loud. And as much as I love Cheap Trick, I mean, the power of AC/DC was just unbelievable, man. I mean, just, you know, just incredible. So, and yeah, and then Highway to Hell came out, and then sadly, you know, Bon was no longer with us. And
I
changed
didn't.
the whole thing.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to see them with Bond, but I did the For Those About to Rock concert in at the LA Forum. I
Right.
remember that show.
Which is still awesome. I was born in 75. I didn't hear AC/DC until like Who Made Who probably, and then I had to go backwards and find it all.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, and especially for you and me who grew up in, you know, playing in pretty progressive bands, it's pretty funny for us to play AC/DC because it sounds simple, but there's nuances in those, especially the Phil Rudd drumming style and disciplines to that. There's nuances and disciplines in the Cliff Williams bass line. I mean, I sat and wrote that chart out. I wrote when he does, these little walking lines. He does these right. These little things that just make the thing groove and swing. And it's just, it was great playing with you, even though unfortunately we couldn't do it in the room together. It was fun, kind of getting our groove on with that, even though we had to do it virtually. But obviously you paid attention to there's a swing and a feel to that stuff. So I thought it was kind of funny that you and me play this usually thrashy progressive stuff, and now we're just kind of hanging back grooving,
Yeah. Hey, it's fun, it's all music and it's all good. So
yeah.
I was really excited to do it, and I enjoyed it. I'm glad the tracks worked out. I had set up my studio at home recently, and I was able to dial everything in and get everything going. And I believe I did the Body Count Colors remake, and then shortly after you contacted me. Right. So one track after the other, and I was really happy to at least put the studio to use.
Yeah, awesome. Body Count did a remake of Colors. I had no idea. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it turned out. But this one, great.
That's my jam.
On the solo record, man. This is a lot of fun. I've always thought about doing something like this.
Yeah.
But of course, doing everybody else's music, you always forget about working on for yourself.
Well, I owe you a bass line, so if you need a bass player, let me know.
and if you need a singer, let me know.
Okay, perfect.
Well, it's funny. I just come home. Same thing. I mean, Thom and I were working on a solo Ellefson record of original material, and we were working on that. And then I went down to Nashville. Me and Dirk went down and recorded drums and bass for the new Megadeth records. So we're into that for a little less than 2 weeks. And, so again, studio ears are on just like you, your head's in that, and your ears are fine tuned. And I came home and Thom and I got on the phone, and we said, let's just do some covers. And, I think the fun thing about covers is we all start out as cover musicians, right? Because most of the people that I've met didn't say, first time I picked up a guitar, I wrote a song, right? You usually start by learning to play, your favorite songs from your heroes or your record collection. So we kind of all start out like that. And then we go on, and for some of us, we've been blessed to have careers of our own original music and record deals and stuff. And I don't know about you guys, but I kind of got away from playing covers. And then in the 2000s, sort of started to get back into it, doing some NAMM jams and, of course, Metal Allegiance and a various Hail and some various things that I got involved in. And it kind of brought back the whole love of just playing cover songs. And I think when you go see really good tribute bands and cover bands, you realize, man, the detail you have to, really listen to pick up the nuances of a certain player's style, and probably on this no cover record, as a bass player, to go through and play everything from Sweet to AC/DC to Wasp, Bachman Turner Overdrive, like all these different guys. These are records obviously I grew up with and listened to and inspired me in a lot of ways. But you go in and you play them, and now, of course, it's going to be heard by the world. It's not just a jam; it's a recording that's out there forever. I think there's a different sort of commitment to it, and I mean, I would sit and chart the songs out and pick up all the little movements. Free Will Burnin' that Gus played on, there's there's these little, again, Ian Hill has these slight little movements in and out of the chord changes. So as simple as some of those Ian Hill lines are, they're very deliberate, and every note is very intentional. And Dave and Gus making records, we hear those notes over and over and over as we're dubbing and mixing, and you know what I mean? So if a note's bothering us, we fix it or we move it or we do something with it. So, it's every note. Sometimes records sound like they're so kind of free form and jamming, but the reality of it is every note is on there is there for a reason, Mm-hmm. So.
Yep. So. And, you're under the microscope because those cover songs have been, listened to thousands time. So if you do something wrong or you're not playing it right, you're going to hear it.
Well, and the thing is, too, I mean, between me and David, we know all the bands that we covered on this record. We're friends with all of them. So it's like, they're going to hear it. So there's like, that extra pressure. Like we did a Post Malone cover earlier this year. And the whole time I didn't give a shit what people were going to think. Oh, my God, Posty's a friend of ours. I'm like, I hope he doesn't hate it. You know what I mean? It's like there's just that extra pressure when you're covering bands and artists that you're friends with. And and they're going to hear it. And you really want to pay a proper homage and respect to what they do, and
Yeah. So Phil Rudd will hear this somewhere.
Well, I hope I did a good job. You
did awesome. It's funny, and I've never told this story. So originally, Charlie Benante played on a bunch of songs on the record. He played on Holiday in Cambodia, and he played on a few different songs. He played on Queen's Sheer Heart Attack,
Wiedersehen,
Wiedersehen. And originally he played on Riff Raff, and I forgot to tell him that we had you do it. So originally he played on it, and then you agreed to do it. Well, we're like, look, Charlie's already on 3 songs. Let's give Riff Raff to Lombardo. So then when I sent Charlie the whole record, he heard Riff Raff. He's like, I didn't play it like that. I'm like, oh shit, I feel like such an asshole that I forgot to tell him that we had you do it. So maybe someday we'll release the Benante mix of Riff Raff. But he did it.
That's another drummer from the Big Four that's on there.
I know, right? So
well, it's funny because Charlie played on a bunch of stuff, and I even forgot that too. He played on a bunch of stuff. Thom was talking to Charlie one day, and same thing. Charlie's like, I'm just exhausted trying to get everybody together to write an Anthrax record, because it was right in the heart of the shutdown, of course.
Yeah.
And Anthrax is scattered between New York, Chicago, LA, and flights were stopped and no one wanted to fly. So Charlie was kind enough to just throw some stuff down, and so did Dave McClain. And Dave's amazing, man. I don't know if you're familiar with from now in Sacred Reich. Man, what a great player. So I feel like we've got the ultimate drum god record between you and Charlie and Dirk and McClain, and even Chuck Beeler came out of hiding up in Detroit.
Dirk.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of Big Four on this record, man.
Yeah, so it's cool.
Jimmy DeGrasso.
Yeah.
I mean, how many Megadeth drummers do we have on this record? Like 4?
I don't know, 17 or so. Good. Well, it's good to have you. Just good to be jamming with you, man. So, well, thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. It's I know you got a bunch of stuff going on, so appreciate you making a little time for us today. It's cool.
Yeah, definitely. Good luck with the record, and
thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Let me know. I'm here.
Likewise.
And when you're ready to make that Lombardo record, you give us a call.
Have bass ready to go.
Cool.
All right, brother. Thanks, dude.
You guys
Everybody say bye, Dave.
Yep. See you, Dave. Thanks, dude. See you, buddy.
See ya, Dave.
Bye.
How cool was that?
That's nice. It's awesome, man. I'm glad he stopped in. I hit him yesterday just to let him know we were thinking about doing this, and in fact, after we did the stream the other night, it was a lot of fun because we hadn't done one for a couple of weeks, and then the press release was ready to go out. And yesterday was a nice look with getting the Auf Wiedersehen video out, and the teaser, I should say, the teaser clip.
The teaser. Well, it's so funny. Whenever we never announce it. We have these huge guests, like when Post Malone was on. It wasn't announced. He just showed up, and like Lombardo was on. We announced that Gus was going to be on, and some of the other guys are going to be on with us today. But like, that's what's so fun is like, guys like Dave Lombardo and Post Malone just show up on our live streams unannounced. Like, hey.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, you guys do it very much on the fly, it sees, which is...
We do. Very, very... You saw that today when I emailed you like an hour before, like, okay, we're doing this.
Yeah. Because I didn't know where, like, okay, where am I going to be at this time? So, and then I didn't get the link until like an hour ago, but it's all good, man. So,
well, good. I'm glad you can make it. So, you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to play Free Will Burning, and then I'm going to bring some of these other cats in, and we'll talk about it. I mean, why the hell not?
Yeah,
let's do
definitely. Do it.
Okay. 1 second. Come on, work.
Is it not going?
We accelerate till time to overtake the load. We'll detonate whoever wants to destroy. Born to lead at breakneck speed with high octane, was mad inside. Free will body, free will body. Catapult with thrusting to the up to nothing. Every fall go headlong into any day. Don't accept defeat, we never will retreat. We blaze with scorching obliteration everywhere. Born to lead at breakneck speed with high octane, with spells and fire. Free will body. Free will body. The queen never been a way to keep it running free. Shots of the devil never giving up his over way to pay. Fall to the leave like will it to do by the life.
Dude, it's too metal. It froze up.
Thanks.
It literally froze up. It's like, this is way too metal.
Yo.
Hey, buddy, what's happening? What's going on?
Look
We
who
have
else
two
we found.
Andys.
Andy James.
Every band
Andy
I've been
James
in
and Andy Martongelli.
How's it going?
How's it going, all right?
Every band I'm in, two Daves. Now we have two Andys. Nice.
Yeah, that was definitely a lot of fun playing that song. Like, especially having to go after Gus, which is never fun.
What's happening, Andy?
Yeah.
So Gus, Andy, and Andy all played on Free Will Burnin'.
with Jason McMaster, myself, and Dave McLean on drums.
So can I ask something? It sounds. I mean, the mixing sound great. Who mixed this?
Alessio Caravello. You know the guy. You know,
yeah,
we've been on tour together.
Yeah,
we've been to Europe together. Yeah.
Yeah, Alessio's awesome, man. He mixes all of our stuff. He mixed
Alessio Caravello.
yeah, he did great job. Sounds amazing.
I'll send you the whole record. I'll email you the link to the whole record so you can do it. So turned out so great.
Cool, man. Thanks. Yeah, it's coming out in November, right?
The whole mix. He's taking
November 20th.
Cool, man. What can I say? You guys busy. Like I remember like last year, was it last year, Dave, or 2 years ago? Like in between Megadeth stuff, you went out and did like the Ellefson tour with Thom.
Yeah, last year.
Last year, like all over the place, like South America, Europe.
We started up in, well, we did the Mega Cruise. Well, actually, we were on tour all summer last year because we had
we ended on the Mega Cruise. Yep.
Yeah, we did. Well, we ended the U.S. tour on the Mega Cruise. You're right, and then we went over and we did that show with KK Downing up at Steel Mill.
Right.
Yeah, and yep, and then we went down to Italy and played Andy's with Andy and Paolo and Valerio. We did the tour there. Then I went down to South America and I did a solo bass story tour down there, and then came back, and then we did the Megadeth Five Finger Death Punch tour. And so Andy, James, and I got to hang on that. In fact, one day I walked in the dressing room and you and Kiko were playing, and there was just so many notes and so much math. I just had to leave. I was like, dude, this is fucking insane.
Too much theory as well. Kiko, he was blowing my mind.
Oh my God. You two, I walked in with my bass going, hey, let's jam. And then I heard you guys go, I'm like, and I'm out. Fuck that. I'm going to
That's
catering.
too much. There's too much going on.
It's just like you two guys are the total guitar nerds of the tour, man. It was awesome. It was cool. So
yeah, I learned some cool stuff off of Kit because he's one of these guys. I mean, I'm just like a heavy guy, I don't really play a lot of different styles, although actually I'm trying to get my head around flamenco stuff at the minute, which is a totally different thing, because there's you've got loads of time on our hands, you know what I mean, might as well learn something. But he's just one of those guys that can just flip gears like that and just be like, oh yeah, doing metal 1 minute, kind of jazz the next thing, and then some kind of Latin thing the next, you know what I mean? It's like it totally blows your mind. So
yeah. No, it was great, man. It was, it's funny. One of the fun nights that we had on that tour was when we went over to go see. It was a night off in Poland, and I had done that Ellefson coffee event.
Oh, that's right.
You guys all came over. Then we left the coffee event and we went over to see Zakk Wylde play. Was he doing?
Yeah, Zach Sabbath. Yeah,
Zach Sabbath. Yeah, which was great. So we all, talk about guitar nerds hanging out. We were all backstage, just like, heavy metal guitar nerds. So. But that was fun, man. That was a great show, and Zach was killer, and that was we had a lot of fun on that tour, man. It was, and of course, you guys were planning to go do a whole bunch more, and then this it was weird. That whole tour, the COVID thing was literally like a week or two behind us. Like everywhere we just were was blowing up with COVID, and
especially like Milan, we were like there, and then pretty much the next week, it was all over the place, you know what I mean? So we were literally just there like a week ago. I mean, it obviously was really bad, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean,
you've been okay though, right? Because are you in Wales or are you in where are you at?
Yeah, I live in Wales at the moment. I mean, it's cold, it's dark and wet, and at the moment, but just like everybody else, just trying to keep busy. I did like a solo album that I hadn't really planned on doing, but when you got that much time in your hands,
didn't we all?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and obviously got on this as well. Yeah. This is not the only cover I've done the whole lockdown, so it was cool to do something different, definitely.
Well, we appreciate you jumping in and doing that. It's
well, thanks for having me.
Super.
Thank you. It was good fun. It was good fun. It's always good fun. It's like being at the bar, all together.
It's funny how we do it, because me and Thom would be having phone calls going, hey man, let's do Free Will Burn, and hey, let's do this freaking Def Leppard song.
Dave would call me at 10 o'clock at night and go, dude, I want to do Nazareth, Love Hurts. And I'm in the studio, and the next day, So he'd call Andy the next day. I'd have a track to sing to. It was insane.
The 9-hour time difference between Arizona and Verona, Italy. I'd go, Andy.
It works.
I'd send him an email. He'd wake up the next day, drink 15 espressos, and he'd have fucking Love Hurts and
more
10 more songs.
Than 15.
Yeah.
More than 15.
But I remember with Free Will Burning, remember taking that section and just stretching it out, right? So that's like, is the normal song? Is it like a KK solo and a Glenn solo?
It's the normal. It's the normal one.
It's a normal, yeah.
Exactly the same as the original. And I managed like to just to have the same room for everybody, and then
to put everybody on it.
Gus came with a cool harmony. He just sent me the harmony that at the very end of the solo.
Yeah, I did.
And so you came up with a good part. No, you came up with a good ending. And I said, I asked Andy, why don't you harmonize that? And I put some guitars underneath, and it worked good in the end.
Yeah, it took me a while to figure that out because I was listening to it going, oh God, I had to do it in like sort of sections and just try and figure out what you were playing because it wasn't the easiest thing for me to try and follow because like whenever you try and play in the style of another guitar player or whatever, because obviously, you kind of do that pedal tone thing quite a lot. I don't do it as much in my playing. So it's like I had to kind of woodshed a little bit just to get anywhere close. But yeah, it was fun working it out, definitely.
Yeah.
You mean about my part, Andy?
Yeah, your bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Now imagine how it was for me to try to learn your stuff on your song when we collaborated last year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you guys do together? What did you two guys do together? What'd you do?
We did because Gus had a guitar camp over in Greece. So he invited me to do that with a bunch of other players. And then I kind of had this idea, well, why don't we do a song? I mean, the idea was to do this song together, put it out, and then it'd be some kind of advertising for the camp. But unfortunately, just because so much was going on at the time, we didn't do the song afterwards. So yeah, we just decided to do a song. So I had this idea, kind of fairly neoclassical heavy thing. Sent it to Gus, he was into it. So I just left like kind of gaps and stuff so we could like play our own parts and then obviously like do the harmony stuff together. But
it's a great song, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We went to Manchester, just up north, England, and we hired out this kind of almost church, I guess, cathedral type thing, but they had like a crypt underneath. So it kind of inspired the name of the song because there was like a load of tombs down there, like people that have been buried there like hundreds of years ago, just in this thing, and it was all like loads of different names and dates of when these people had died and that, and then we're just standing in the hallways like shredding this song. So yeah, it turned out pretty cool in the end.
And you telling us that story with an English accent just
and that's pretty fucking metal.
It makes it even more darker.
Yeah, and it was funny. It was
straight off a Black Sabbath album right there. It's
exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was pretty cool, man. It was as metal as it gets, actually. That video. Yeah.
Hey, are you doing any more of your guitar camp, Gus? Are you going to do another one of those, maybe virtually or something?
I'm doing actually some master classes in Athens next week, but I thought about doing this guitar camp. I'm glad I didn't do the guitar camp this year because it would have been canceled anyway.
Yeah, so, a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, but if everything resumes next year, hopefully we can put it back again together. Let's see.
Me and David were talking about doing like a virtual bass camp thing, and it was one of those things that we just never did because we were too fucking busy.
Yeah, I mean, but like the thing is with the guitar camps though, it's a little bit about like when you do it's about the experience when everybody comes to some like hotel resort and stuff like that. So
right.
I mean, you can do master classes or a series of master classes online, obviously, through Zoom or whatever, but it will obviously not be the same kind of experience when you can get everybody together.
Yeah, so I've done a couple for the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, and that's what they were. They're basically master classes.
I did one of those as well. Yeah.
Did you? Yeah.
And but it's not like the guitar camp. You know what I mean? Like where
right? Yeah, it's a different experience for sure. Yeah.
We're actually going out and doing some real shows next month, which will be interesting. We're doing 2 shows in Texas, 1 in Louisiana, the 30th, 31st, and the 1st. So Halloween weekend basically will be in Texas, and then in November we're going out and doing a handful of shows in Iowa, I think, and Wisconsin and Illinois before the record comes out. So
here's the thing. Like, does every state have a different law?
Yep. Some of them, I'm starting to get the offers back now. Like Chicago, like the capacity can only be 50 at the place. It's like some places are like half capacity, third capacity, so they can have the proper space. And I already talked to all the promoters and said, look, we kind of need to have everything socially distanced and safe. And if we do meet and greets, people are going to be 20 goddamn feet away, just throwing their CDs at our heads. Like, we're going to try and keep it as safe and fun as possible.
I think on Halloween, I'm going to go back and wear that werewolf mask that I wore on Jimmy Kimmel. And then that way I'll be socially distanced with a mask on because it'll be Halloween. So
I actually have a Gene Simmons mask I'm going to bring.
Perfect.
I don't know how I'm going to sing through it, but.
Yeah. Well, shit, you go to the grocery store and buy like a Bullwinkle mask and you're good. You'll be masked up for Halloween, so. Yeah, it's different over here in America. I always say, to Americans that haven't traveled to Europe, every one of your countries. So Andy James, you're in the UK, and Andy Martongelli, you're in Italy. Gus, you're in Greece. That every one of those countries is like a state over here, right? And because your own governments, you can lock down borders, flights don't go, to the different countries, et cetera. You guys can kind of more localize it. Whereas over here, it's like, 48 countries down here in the lower mainland of the USA. So it's like 48 countries who just left their borders open. We can fly and drive. So you can understand why it's such a nightmare and to try to contain it. And of course, some states are more conservative than others about it. And every governor has sort of a different mandate. So yeah, it's really been it's clearly the states that have less population are easier to contain, which, in Arizona, I mean, I'm in Scottsdale, so I'm a suburb of a bigger city, but it's a lot easier to contain it here, and and plus winter is coming, so who knows, man. So
it'll be interesting how touring business will resume with all these different measures, and whether it be states or countries or whatever, I mean, I think even now in Europe, I think Switzerland they allow shows or certain. Certain counties in Germany, they can do shows, and then others they don't, and
they can't. And Andy James, I'd say in the UK, everything's like shut down, right? I mean, you guys, I mean,
it's probably one of the worst places, I'd say, just because. I mean, the government can't really make up their mind what they want to do. They're kind of like, lockdown, open up, lockdown again, and it's like, rather than do a full national lockdown at the moment, they're doing like local lockdown. So where I am at the moment, we're in a total like lockdown where we can't go anywhere, do anything unless it's like essential to go for what, like next week I've got to go and do something for, work or whatever. But, it's kind of difficult because like the government here really don't seem to acknowledge the entertainment industry at all. It's just
here either
non-viable, you know what I mean? Like, they're basically going to be training people that are part of the music industry at the moment that haven't got work at the moment, and they're going to retrain them. And I mean, the words from the government were, we'll retrain them and get them into better jobs. You're like,
but they don't understand. That's the whole reason why we play music, so we don't have to have jobs. They're missing that point.
Wow.
It's a little bit indicative of like, they're obviously thinking long term here, and they don't look like they're going to be accepting that the way we did things before is going to be coming back anytime soon. So
yeah, right.
I don't know,
well,
man.
Thom and I had a tour. Well, would be with Andy Martongelli as well. March and April. Originally was to try to put a solo record out in the spring and do that. And the word we got back is that until there's a vaccine, promoters are pretty nervous about doing anything. And of course, the smaller venues will be much quicker to open up and the smaller shows. But the big things, 1,000 and capacity and above. It's going to be pretty rough, man, to be putting a bunch of people in a room. It's going to be tough. So, well, shit, man. Look, it is what it is. I know I was trying to get over to Andy's at least so I could get a pizza and play some bass.
Oh yeah, well, we were going to go to London to go work on the record and track, and that didn't happen. And we had Australia, Japan, that didn't happen. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah. So here we are on StreamYard making records. So 5 solo records.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, like, we're all gonna like find a way. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna kill us off that easily. You know what I mean? So
No, I know. It's weird times.
Hey, 2020 already tried to kill me once and failed.
Yeah. Thom already died, and it didn't. He came back, so we're good.
I'm actually a zombie now.
He's
you had a heart attack?
Yeah, my heart stopped. Like I'm in the Nicky like July.
Yeah.
Oh man!
Right in the middle of making this record. Like literally, I was in the studio 1 week. 4 days later, I'm in the hospital, basically in a coma. It was fucked up.
Sunday night, we're having a conversation. I sit down and we'd hang up and we'll go watch TV for a little bit. I call Thom back. He doesn't answer. I'm like, I guess I'll catch him tomorrow. And then like the next morning, I wake up to my phone blowing up. Go, oh my God, Thom had a heart attack. He's in the hospital. I'm like, what the hell? So you could have returned my call.
Surprise.
Wow, man.
Yeah, exactly. So he got through it, and so that's why now we got a cover of Sheer Heart Attack too, and Thom's on.
No, it was so funny.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Like I was basically out of it for a week, and when I woke up and I had my phone, one of the first things I did was texted Bumblefoot, and I'm like, "So how funny is it that last week I was singing Sheer Heart Attack, and now I just had one?" And that's how. And then he called me like, "What?" You know, it's funny, but
man,
exactly.
The irony was not lost on me.
But everything's good now, right?
Oh yeah, good, right as rain. I think I got a pacemaker. I'm like Iron Man now. I'm upgraded.
Yeah, the bionic.
Now you gotta
man.
cover. Now you gotta cover Iron Man.
Right there you go.
Turn into
That's
iron.
Your next cover. Yeah,
it is. Well, dudes, thanks for joining us. Thank you, guys. And Andy James, good to see you again. I haven't seen you since we were in the airport together when we were finishing up the tour. We flew from Sofia, Bulgaria was it Sofia? Yeah, from Sofia. Yeah. We flew together
I was at
up
that
to
last
London.
show. I was
there. Yes, you were there.
I didn't get to see you, Dave, but I saw Andy before the show a little bit. Yeah.
It's funny because Bulgaria, that was probably the closest down to Greece on the whole.
Yeah,
tour.
I drove up from Thessaloniki where I live, so that was the last show for me this year that I went to anyway. So. Yeah,
me too. that was the last one. That was a great show. It was a great show.
Amazing show.
Just freaking slaying. That was really a great way to end the tour. But yeah, it's funny.
I think I texted you after that the next day, and I said that was the best.
You did.
The best Megadeth show I've seen ever. So, and I've seen
it was good. We finished out for sure. It was good. It was a fun tour because we were trying out a lot of different songs. Of course, Dave was just coming back from his throat cancer, so we tried to just start soft. Like look, Dave, we'll play whatever songs you can sing, whatever that is. Like just no. Everybody's just going to be glad to see you. We're just all thankful we can even be back on stage again. So it was fun to dip into the catalog and go and dig out some stuff like Dread and the Fugitive Mind and Angry Again. And a bunch of stuff we haven't touched in years. So it was fun to do that. And
that was a great set list. The band was on fire. And I thought Andy he nailed it with Death Punch. You did great, Andy.
Oh, Andy, amazing. Yep. Seamless. It was like it. We'd be backstage in our dressing room, and your show would start, and seamless. It sounded amazing. So
absolutely, yeah.
You, regardless of what your government says, I think you can make a living on this. This can be a job for you. Playing
right. But don't worry, they will retrain you to do something more meaningful.
Exactly. Yeah, melting faces in front of 10,000 people every night's not meaningful enough,
So what's everybody's job going to be when we can't do this anymore? Dave, what are you going to do?
I'm going to be a train conductor. I'm going to walk down and click the tickets from everybody and click their tickets. Yep. Then I can wear the hat. I got training in the Megadeth Train of Consequences video. I played that part, so I'm prepared. I'm ready to go.
Great, Gus.
I think I'll probably get a job at a pet shop.
A pet shop boy.
You'll be a pet shop boy.
I'll be a pet shop boy. Yes.
Awesome.
Andy's, what are you gonna be? Oh, you're muted. Oh my goodness.
You're muted.
Oh, he's
let me
muted.
unmute the Andes.
I'm gonna eat pizza until I explode.
I know.
Dude, if that was a viable profession, I wouldn't be here in the first place.
That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do.
He's gonna be a Mario brother and just make Italian food. And,
exactly.
Yeah, that's amore.
Andy James, what are you gonna do?
Well, like I said, I was just probably get a job at Starbucks because I'm there every day anyway. So fuck it. I
may as well get paid to be there. I agree. I'll come over and I'll be a barista as well. That sounds like a good idea. So,
Barista.
Yeah.
Barista.
Yeah.
Barista.
The cannoli.
Due caffè. Due
The
cannoli.
All right, dudes. Well, hey, thank you guys for being on the record. Much appreciate it. And thanks for stopping by today and just yucking it up and having some fun here in front of all of our friends out in the world. And
anytime, man. Thank you, guys.
We'll keep you posted. So awesome. All right, gentlemen. Thank you.
We're going to get rid of these guys so me and David can wrap it up. Andy James, Andy Martongelli, Gus G.
Gus G. Thank you, gentlemen.
And then there were two.
Yeah. And Dave Lombardo, man. I'm so glad you stopped by. It was so nice.
How cool was that, man?
Super great. Yeah.
And I was wearing my Slayer hat from puck hockey. So ironic.
Yeah.
It was one of those fortunate coincidences.
Just as importantly, you have your Dead Kennedys t-shirt on.
I do.
Yeah.
You can't see it though, man. I have my Anthrax sweatshirt on and my Dead Kennedy shirt. I'm representing and my Slayer hat.
Walking swag store right there. Just click here. Yeah. You should have that. Just click on the stream. You should have an arrow.
I know I should. You should buy this.
It points through to sell stuff, and then you can get a commission.
Yeah.
That's
right. You can buy. That's a great idea. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Maybe I'll make you be the manager now.
There you go. I'll be the manager.
So anyway, so remember, Wiedersehen, the video's coming out on Tuesday. The single is coming out on all digital platforms next Friday, 1 week from today. The album, No Cover, 11/20. You know, you can check some songs out. They're all on YouTube and all over the damn place. Check out the new Supreme Unbeing single that came out today on EMP Label Group. Anything else? Cool. Buy a Fallout pedal, which is the tagged.
Yeah. Again, I don't know if you can hear this or not, but so there's the regular bass. All right, then turn the pedal on.
Oh, yeah.
Into my Rocco. I'll end with my Rocco Prestia honorarium since the Tower of Power great bassist just passed this week. So we'll do a tribute to him on No Cover number 2, volume 2.
All right, that'll be a weird fucking album. All right, dude.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Thanks for joining us. See you, buddy.
Peace.